David Spada is a successful attorney whose dream was to become a sports talk show host. Elliott Harris is a Chicago sports columnist who wanted to expand his media presence. In the next hour, they combine their talents and love of sports and women by interviewing former professional athletes and lovely ladies on sports and torts. But keeping the boys out of trouble isn't always easy, because when David and Elliott are together, they have more fun than should be legal.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of Sports and Torts with David Spada and Elliott Harris. I'm Elliott Harris, so that means the fellow in the salmon-colored shirt probably is David Spada, who's taking time out from his practice. Now, is that law or golf practice has brought you in?
Too much law this year, not enough golf.
Not enough golf. Well, we'll rectify that over the course of the summer. We have another great show today. A couple of interviews that you and I conducted. And we will start off first with Courtney Vandersloot, point guard for the WNBA Chicago Sky. Our guest today in studio is Chicago Sky point guard Courtney Vandersloot, who has many notable achievements. The one I like best is your birth date.
Why is that?
It happens to be the same day, although not the same year as me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See, now you know. So now,
great.
Next February 8th, we can go out and celebrate, right?
Together.
What is there, a half a century difference?
More or less, let's not.
Maybe.
You've been in the league. This is your third year. First year as the number 3 overall pick by this guy. You made it into the All-Star game.
Yes.
Was that expected when you came in?
It wasn't. I wasn't expecting it at all. But it is quite the honor to be an All-Star at any point, let alone your rookie year. So it was a good experience for me. I really, really enjoyed that, and it was quite the honor.
And that was the last All-Star game they had, because that was 2011. Then for 2012, they took off for the Olympics. And the MVP in that 2011 game was on the opposite side then. She's a teammate now, Swin Cash.
Yes, it was. It was.
How impressive was she then, and how impressive is she now?
She was very impressive, especially during that game, which is why she got the MVP honor. But I think what makes Swin Cash the most impressive is just how great of a teammate she is, how great of a leader she is. I think we have to credit a lot of our success to Swin.
Yep. Your coach, Pokey Chapman, says it's like having a coach on the floor or in an extra one in the huddle during timeouts. It is.
What's special about Swin is she isn't just knows her position, but she can really coach everyone. So it is like having a coach. She's there to give pointers for everybody of all position and of all years. And that's what she has done for us. She's been in the league, for 11 years now, so she knows. And these our teammates and players along the league, they respect her. They understand. That she knows what she's talking about. So when Swin talks, people tend to listen.
She's a grizzled veteran.
She is.
I don't know if she'd like to be referred to as grizzled, but she's a veteran.
I don't want to call her the old lady on the team.
I think she likes seasoned. That's the term that she appreciates the best.
Growing up, did you realize that you would have the opportunity to play professional basketball? I mean, because there wasn't really that much women's basketball 10, 15 years ago.
There wasn't. I think that the league started when I was like in 3rd grade or something. So I did get to, I was fortunate enough to grow up at least in Seattle. So I was a Storm fan. I got to watch. But again, it wasn't that popular. So, I never really knew if I had a chance, but I just kept working hard, hopefully to get here one day. So.
Now, you also played other sports.
I did.
Were you better in softball?
Not in softball. I was better at soccer, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the transition? I would think there's very little between basketball and soccer.
Well, I think just playing multiple sports when you're young just helps with a lot of different things. Footwork is big in soccer, and I think that helped me a lot. my skill set with basketball. There isn't a lot similar to the game, but I think footwork would definitely be one of them, and something that I could pick up on pretty easily because of my experiences with soccer.
And use your head in different ways.
Definitely.
Fewer concussions, hopefully.
Yes.
So you were going to be the next Mia Hamm?
I wanted to be, that's for sure. Mia Hamm was definitely somebody that I, idolized when I was younger.
Now you idolize Cheryl Miller?
Of course. Sure.
Or who was your favorite women's basketball player growing up?
Well, like I said, I was a Storm fan, and I was young, I was small, just like Sue Bird is, and so I definitely, watched Sue a lot, and she was kind of the face of the Storm, and continues to be. So
now she's injured this season, but what's it like to get on the same court and go against somebody who you did go, wow, she's special?
It's cool. It's an honor. You feel like you're finally there. You grew up idolizing this player, and just trying to learn from her, and it's a cool experience. But it's not just them. It's being out on the court with all of these players that you either watched in college or played against in college that you were just like, I played against Candace Parker my freshman year, and I never thought that I'd be on the same court against her again, and here I am.
What about recently retired Cheryl Swoops is at Loyola now, the women's coach?
Yeah, that's Cheryl Swoops is a big idol for a lot of people. She was the face of the league, the face of women's basketball at one point. And it's cool that she gets to continue that as a head coach. I'm sure she knows a lot from her playing days, and is going to be an awesome coach there.
Yeah, she stopped by and seen a couple of the Sky games at All-State Arena.
Yeah, yes, of course. She's always showing support. This was her league at one point.
Definitely. Now, you went to Gonzaga, where you're probably the most famous point guard in school history.
Arguably.
Well, with the possible exception of one.
Yes.
John Stockton, who had a tremendous career in college and then with the Utah Jazz.
Yes, he did.
And your coach encouraged you to reach out to John Stockton, and you're not the most extroverted. Is that safe to say?
It's safe to say, I would say.
So how did you bridge that gap to reach out to John Stockton?
Well, it was hard. It was definitely not something that I was comfortable doing, but I think that helped too. My coach just tried to get me out of my comfort zone a little bit and reach out to somebody, that is as famous as John Stockton. But once I made the phone call, he's a very down-to-earth man, and very friendly, was way willing to help. So once I made that first call, I got over that, the shock of the name. It wasn't bad, and I continued to go to him throughout my college for, a little bit of support and tips and anything I can pick his brain from.
What was your first meeting with him like?
Well, I was nervous, but like I said, he broke down that wall right away, and after that, it was just I tried to just absorb as much as I could from him, because he actually worked me out a little bit and just taught me some drills and some things, put me through some drills. So it was easy, comfortable.
No one-on-one against him?
No.
Or
no.
Playing horse?
He retired, I think, from that.
Who wore shorter shorts?
Probably about the same length.
Of course, he had Karl Malone to run the pick and roll with, and that's not really the offense that you guys use very much. You have Sylvia Fowles, All-Star Center. You have Elena, a forward. You have Swin Cash.
Mm-hmm.
You have Epiphany Prince. How do you make sure everybody gets the ball enough? It's like you almost need 2 or 3 basketballs.
Well, that's a good thing about us, I think, is that we really don't, because we have so many options, and everybody always says, or Pokey always says to us, like, we don't care who's scoring as long as we're scoring. And that's what's great, is nobody wants to score. Nobody complains about touches. We have one of the best centers in the world, and you never hear her complain about touches, and she's still going to work hard. And I think that's great, and I think that's really helping us, that we have so many options. We're tough to guard.
Right. in the season opener, he had 14 points. You thought, oh, this is going to be the season Courtney averages double figures. And it doesn't work out that way every game. And even Epiphany, who last season was throwing up 30 points a game for several games, has curtailed her scoring. I mean, obviously you have Elena Deladon, who's averaging close to 20. But it's defensively, I don't know how other teams approach the sky other than to hope that you guys make turnovers.
I mean, that's what makes us so difficult to guard, and especially, Epiphany is just hard to guard. She's a really good one-on-one player, but then you have Elena, who kind of plays a guard and a post, and she's obviously very, very difficult to guard. So I guess you kind of got to pick your poison. I mean, I'm glad that I'm not the one trying to scout us.
Who's the go-to player on your team? If you need to win a game with like 5 seconds left, who is Swim Cash or your coach, Pokey Chapman, going to diagram a play for?
I think it all depends on the game. We'll have times where Epiphany just has the hot hand, and then we'll have times where Elena or, Sylvia is always an option. And that's what makes us so difficult to guard, is because at the last 5 seconds, they don't know. They can't just take one player away, because if they do that, we have other options.
And you've seen that this season, where it comes down to the last seconds and people think, okay, it's going to Elena. And it didn't.
Right. Yes. And that's tough to guard, because you do want to try and guess, get a little bit of an edge and try and determine who the ball is going to go to. And I think teams are pretty smart to assume that it's going to go to Elena, but, we also have other options.
Who's is this a full-time job for all the players, or is this part-time?
This is a full-time job for sure.
Has this been the same way the whole time in the league, or has it evolved into a full-time job?
Well, I think it's pretty much a full-time job since the get-go. We only practice for a certain amount of hours, but there's a lot goes into it. Taking care of your body and doing stuff like this, and getting ready to prepare for the next team or whatever it may be. It's not just those couple hours that you're in the gym.
At the same time, it's not a year-round job, so you end up going to Turkey to play. Other players go to Turkey or other countries abroad. What's that experience like?
It's really cool, because we get the chance to go and live in other countries and, really learn about other cultures, live in, not just travel, to actually live in, different countries. And most of the time when you're over there, you're not just staying in your one country, you get to travel, and then you get to play basketball at the same time and get paid for it. That's a pretty sweet deal.
Where are your practices at? Are they at the arena in Rosemont, or do you have a...
No, we practice in Deerfield.
With the Bulls?
At Saks.
Oh, okay.
Where the Bulls used to.
Yeah.
Oh, the old Deerfield multiplex?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's now the Saks Recreation Center.
So you're not scrimmaging against Derrick Rose?
No. Fortunately not.
Well, maybe you guys can, they're trying to, sell the Berto Center? Maybe you guys move into the Berto Center.
Maybe we could.
What year did you graduate Gonzaga?
2011.
Okay, so you were there when Adam Morrison was there.
My senior year was in high school was his senior year. So he was gone by the time I got there.
Okay, so you watched him play, though? Of
course, yes. I was a big Zags fan before I even got there.
So did you cry when you won a game?
No, I didn't. But actually, Adam Morrison and I played in the same team overseas. So that was pretty cool, the same club. We were both there the same year.
Interesting. How did you end up in Turkey as opposed to, say, Russia or some of the other countries out there?
Well, it all depends on what teams need, and every year is different, so everybody signs only for a one-year contract. So, players are going to all these different countries almost every year, and I just started with Turkey.
So do you know where you're going this winter?
I do not yet. So still trying to figure out the details. And
what's your preference? What country?
I don't know yet. I would like to. I haven't been over there enough to know which country I'd rather play on to not. I would like to go to a new country just to try something new. They have big clubs and soccer is a really big sport. So if they have a soccer club which my team when I was in Turkey did. Their fans are just like, what you see in European soccer games, and they compete with those other clubs. So, there's 2 really big clubs in Turkey, and their games are intense. Like, I'm talking like screaming, yelling, fireworks, like the whole deal inside the gym.
Armed guards?
Yes, absolutely.
A little different here in the U.S.
A little different, yes. A little different fan base.
Is there gambling on the games over there for the women?
There is, I think. Obviously, I was not involved in those, so I wouldn't really know the details, but I think that there are.
So that might kind of put a little more pressure
on
you guys.
Edge, yeah.
So is this the year that the Sky make the playoffs?
This is. Definitely.
I thought last year was going to be, but then injuries hit.
Yes. Circumstances came up, but we're focused on this year, and we're focused on, just getting better every game. And I think that if we put it all together, there's no reason why we shouldn't be there.
How's your coach, Slowpokey, as I call her? Not to her face. That's got to be tempting to call her that.
No, actually, I've never even thought of that until you said it. But
and now,
I still wouldn't call her that.
Now, if Courtney's ever benched, we'll know why.
You can get some T-shirts. That's a good marketing thing.
I don't know about that.
Isn't there some kind of sticker, or not sticker, sucker?
There was like a candy.
There you go. You could get an endorsement deal with the candy company,
yeah,
the Slowpokes.
Probably not.
Probably not.
What team do you think gives you the greatest challenge in reaching? I'll assume you want to go beyond just making it to the postseason. The obvious object is to win the championship. So, in the East, is it Atlanta?
Atlanta's had such a good start to the season. I think that they're a really difficult team. But the thing about this league is that, you can't just pick out 1 or 2 teams, because on any given night, this team, the best players, the best teams, you can get beat by anybody. So, as of right now, it's Atlanta, but we don't know after the All-Star break. It could be somebody else, because we have some teams with a lot of injuries. So, we're just focused on us, and I think if we do the things that we're capable of doing, then we can just focus on that rather than focusing on which team.
What do you think about the All-Star game with the NBA when they would have those contests where you'd have a WNBA player, an NBA player, and then a senior player? Did you always dream of playing in one of those?
I didn't dream of playing in one of those, but they're actually, fun to watch, especially when you're in the league and, these are your peers that you see playing. This past All-Star was cool with Maya and, Tina Thompson. It was fun to watch them compete with the NBA guys, and, they held their own, I think. Shooting especially.
You got a question?
Speaking of Tina Thompson, who you guys played recently, she's been in the league since its inception, like 17 years or something. Mm-hmm. Can you see Courtney Vandersloot lasting in the WNBA that long?
Well, that would be awesome. But I'm just going to focus on staying healthy now. That would be incredible to play that long. She's obviously taken care of herself very well to be able to play not only just in the league, but year-round. She still plays overseas, so that's awesome for her.
I think we got someone who wants to ask you a question. You got to talk. Oh, now she's getting shy. She's got 2 older sisters she plays against.
Are you sure she's a Spada? I didn't know any shy Spadas.
She always gets aggravated by her sisters, and when she practices against her sisters at basketball, they keep saying, "You're too little. You're too little." What's your thoughts on that?
Well, if you look at me, I'm not much bigger than you are already, and I got a lot of years on you. I would say I was that girl at one point. I had an older sister who played, and I played up with her, and I was always the littlest one. And, you just got to find different ways. You probably won't ever be the tallest or the strongest, but you don't have to be to be successful.
I notice a lot of the coaches, they try to create all these plays for these kids, and it's just let them play out there in grade school.
Yeah, I think that's huge in development, because that's when you get to a certain level, you want to be able to have players that can make plays on their own, rather than just run a play. I think both is definitely important, that you should be able to run a structured offense, but at some point it's going to break down, and you should be able to, create on your own and just play basketball, make the reads. And you can start that young. You don't have to wait until you're in college to be able to break down a player.
Speaking of small players, Ivory Latta, I believe, is smaller than you.
She is.
And I think she's also recently named an assistant coach at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Do you see way down the road in 15 or 20 years after you've retired that have any appeal?
It did. I don't know. Like sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Somehow I want to be included with the game just because it's been my life the entire time. I don't know if by the time I'm done playing, say it be 17 years from now, if I want to go into coaching or, do something else. But somehow I want to help the game in some way, whether it be with younger players or, just helping out, just volunteering, something like that. But I may want to coach at one point.
Not to be one of the I don't know if it's a problem. One of the drawbacks to the WNBA season is if you wanted to have a summer basketball camp, it would be tough to do that and play at the same time. Is that a reasonable assessment?
Yes, it is. It is hard. Unless you want to do the camp in your city, which it would be
on a specific day rather than several.
Yes. I think that you can find ways around it. If you don't have to spend the entire day at the camp, or maybe just be in and out. But I think a lot of players you can do your camps outside of the summer sessions, and so they'll find a way, or they'll just wait till they're retired.
How many camps did you go to growing up?
A lot. I was always in a camp just because I enjoyed it, and I think it was cheap daycare for my parents.
and your parents wanted to get rid, right? No.
Yeah. That's but I enjoyed it. That's one thing that I loved, going to week-long camps in the summer, and then when I was a little bit older, I actually went to the Gonzaga camp, which is why they started recruiting me, and that's basically where I fell in love with the school, and the rest is history.
But the head coach had not seen you play.
He had not seen me. It was the assistants.
And so the assistant said, "Oh, she's really good," and he had to assess it for himself and say, "Oh, they got it right."
He did. Yes. He missed me at camp, but that's okay.
So do you have a lot of endorsement deals?
I'm a Nike athlete, which is an endorsement, I guess, but.
So what do you get from Nike? Shoes and clothing and everything?
Yeah.
So you go into Nike Town and say, I want this, this, and this, and they have to give it to you, or you have a limit?
They have a limit.
So you're not like Michael Jordan?
No, I'm not like Michael Jordan.
I don't know if he had a limit there.
Slightly less than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, a little bit.
So each player has their own endorsement deal then?
Yeah, sure.
Was it a hard decision who to sign with, or you just are tied to Nike?
I don't think it would be a hard decision for anybody to sign with Nike.
I mean,
if you had the option.
Do shoe companies come in and say, "Here, we want you to sign with us. We want you to sign with us," or is it pretty much Nike's the one for the league?
Well, Adidas is the one for the league, is the league sponsor, but Nike has their their individual athletes that are in the league, and it's up to Nike who those players are.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable as a WNBA player?
Like yesterday. Like I'm still working on that. No.
When did practice end today?
Yeah. I think it's always it's still an adjustment. I still feel like I'm just new, even though this is my third year. So just because the level of competition is so high that I'm just always learning. It's still crazy to me that I actually am in the WNBA. Just trying to live day by day, though.
Okay. She's got a question. She sees your shirt. It says enjoy. She's going to the second grade. She goes, Dad, that's not spelled right.
I didn't choose the spelling of that. But, hey, you're right. It is spelled incorrectly.
Making a basket or an assist, does one feel better than the other?
Me personally, assists feel better. But I mean, just because you're getting other people involved, it's better for the team. That's just because that's my role. But I would say that making a basket feels great too.
No, come on. Assists, you don't feel good. You want to score the game-winning basket.
I'd rather have the game-winning assist.
No one's listening from the team.
They're not? I'll be disappointed if they're not.
Shh, don't tell her. Okay, someone's trying to hog the mic. What's your question?
Do you like basketball?
I do like basketball. I enjoy it a lot. Do you like basketball?
What's your favorite part? Do you like scoring or passing your teammates?
Scoring.
She's just like her dad. She wants the spotlight.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
So there's no ball hogs on your team.
No, absolutely not.
What's it like to play for Pokey?
It's awesome, especially as a point guard, because she was a point guard. She coaches like a point guard. She sees the game like a point guard. So it's nice because she'll always, break it down for me and make sure I'm seeing the right things, and she understands what I guess I'm going through, on the court, and she understands what I'm seeing and what I'm, what to expect of me. So it's awesome, and she's a player's coach, and what I mean by that, she understands because she's played the game. She coaches us like she understands that it's like things are gonna happen, but she expects certain things, if that makes sense at all.
Does she ever scrimmage against you guys or suit it up?
No, I think she's retired too.
I think those days are gone, long gone. I hope she's not listening. They're not long gone, but they're gone.
Yes, she's retired, but she could. Don't underestimate her.
How's she at free throws?
Great, I would assume.
Who's the best free throw shooter?
We actually are really good as a team, but Elena and Piff, I think, are shooting in the 90s for free throws.
So there's no Dwight Howards on your team?
No.
No, there's not.
It just seems like women are better shooters than the guys. Because when you watch the women's game versus the guys, the women seems like it's more passing, more structured, whereas it's not so much freelancing out there.
I mean, I think it depends on the team. That they're, that the 24-second shot clock is pretty short. So there are some freelancing, as you want to call it, but we also play structured too. So
I mean, it's like the old-time NBA basketball used to see, like in the black and whites, where you didn't see the dunking. You actually saw set shots, things like that more. You didn't see as much as this basically run and gun here.
Yeah.
And I think where their shooting percentage goes down among the women is the inability to dunk. So you'll see balls that you think, okay, this should be a layup, and it rolls around the rim and goes out. Stuff like that.
Yeah, whereas guys would just dunk it. Maybe.
I'm assuming you played against guys at some time, like in college?
Of course. Still play against
You
guys.
still do in practice.
Yeah, we still play against guys.
How do the guys get frustrated when you basically
They
outball them?
They do. I think it's only for some guys because they think that they're probably just going to come in and kind of have their way with us, but we're a team and we play as a team. Sometimes where guys just are like practice, come in and don't have that team aspect. So we
What guys have
take
you
care
beat
of
up on?
them.
What, any college guys or? You probably could have beat DePaul last year.
I don't know about that.
Could have beat Loyola.
They could have beat Loyola. He could have beat probably a lot of teams.
Probably.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for your time. Good luck to you and the Chicago Sky, and maybe we will see you in the postseason this year.
All right. Well, thanks for having me,
Maybe.
guys.
You never know. All right. That was a pretty fun time with Courtney Vandersloot. We'll take a brief break, and when we come back on Sports and Torts, we will have Pro Football Hall of Famer Sam Huff.